Maxwell House Coffee presents Mama, starring Peggy Wood.
I remember home and the house where I was born. I remember Steiner Street and the faces and the names of everyone who lived there then, the grown-ups and the boys and the girls. And I remember my big brother Nels and my little sister Dagmar. And of course I remember Papa. But most of all, when I think back on those old days, most of all, I remember Mama.
Yes, here's Mama. Brought to you by world-famous Maxwell House Coffee, the richer, mellower blend. Already a favorite in Mama's time, today more people buy and enjoy Maxwell House than any other brand at any price. Today, as always, this sign of good coffee means Maxwell House. The coffee that's always good to the last drop.
Now, Dagmar. Now, go on.
We are pilgrims, noble red man. We have come to America in order that we may worship God in our own fashion. Can I say it right, Mama?
Yeah, Dagmar.
But you aren't looking at the words.
Oh, well, I am now.
You pretend you're the Indian chief, Mama.
I do not think I would make much of an Indian.
Oh, just read what he says.
Well, let us see.
Why are you holding the paper like that, Mama?
Why are you such a chatterbox pilgrim? Questions, questions, questions.
But you do that all the time lately when you read.
But do not worry about me. I am not the one who is going to be in the Sunday school play.
Oh, you think I'll do my part right, Mama?
I know you will.
Are you and Papa coming?
Why, the whole family is coming. We would not miss it for the world.
Don't forget, it's Wednesday night. It's just before Thanksgiving.
Oh, we will not forget.
Now you be the Indian chief.
Yeah. Who are you with fair hair and white skins? Are you men or are you gods?
Oh, God. We are pilgrims, noble red man. We have come to America in order that we may worship God in our own fashion.
I do not think you need to say it quite so loud, Dagmar.
Well, Mrs. Marsh said that we were supposed to talk loud so everyone could hear us.
Yeah, they will hear you all right.
Indeed they will.
Oh, hello, Aunt
I
Jenny.
did not see you come in, Yenny.
With all that shouting going on, I don't see how you could hear anything.
I'm practicing for my Sunday school play, and Mrs. Marsh said we were supposed to talk loud.
Mrs. Marsh.
I'm glad she moved here, because she's such a nice lady.
Well, some are glad and some are not.
Have you met her, Yenny?
No, I have not. And from what Mrs. Jansrud said, I don't want to meet her.
Oh, she's nice, Aunt Jenny.
We are talking.
Coffee, Yenny.
Yeah?
What did Mrs. Johnsrud say about Mrs. Marsh, Aunt Jenny?
We are having coffee.
But is it so terrible, Yenny?
Well, Mrs. Jansrud thinks that she might be a G-R-A-S-S widow.
Oh, Aunt Jenny, I can spell. What's a grass widow?
Well, nothing for children to know.
Well, you're a widow, and I know that.
Well, I'm not the same kind of widow that Mrs. Jansrud is.
But Aunt Jenny means that maybe Mrs. Marsh and her husband are divorced.
Oh, Mother, what kind of a talk to have before a child.
Oh, it's all right, Aunt Jenny. I've read about divorces in the paper lots of times.
What is the world coming to?
Well, we do not know that Mrs. Marsh is this kind of a person. It is only that Mrs. Jansrud thinks so.
Well, have you seen how she rolls her eyes when the men folk are around?
She's awful pretty.
No wonder. Face powder she uses.
Well, is that so wrong?
And rouge for the cheeks, too. I suppose that is all right, huh?
Rouge, yeah?
Well, you ask Mrs. Jansrud.
Because Mrs. Jansrud said something, that does not make it true, Yenny.
Well, I will not have my daughter in any play than Mrs. Marsh was.
Pastor Stockman would not have her do it if she were not a good person.
Well, Pastor Stockman is a man. And when the man is around, this one is always making sheep's eyes.
Aunt Jenny,
Yeah?
if you're a widow and Mrs. Marsh is a grass widow, that means grass widows are lots younger than ordinary ones, doesn't it?
And I think we've talked enough about that now, Dagmar. You go upstairs now and learn more of the words you have to say.
Oh, all right, Mama.
Yeah.
Oh. We are pilgrims, noble red man. We have come to
having children. Oh, you have a headache?
No, no, no.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Hmm?
Oh, from the Olsens from Norway.
Yeah, what did they say?
Oh, you read it. I want some more coffee.
Oh.
It is interesting about the new house, isn't it?
What new house?
But the Olsens' house. It is the first thing that she says in the letter. They
Oh.
have bought a new house. Can you not read?
But how was I to know you meant the Olsen's house?
Well, do you have to hold it like that to see it?
Was I holding it any way special?
Well, like it smell bad, you are holding it so far. You need eyeglasses.
Oh, I do not need glasses.
Well, no wonder you have headaches.
But who said I had headaches?
Rubbing the temples.
But I do not need glasses.
Well, then hold that letter right.
Well, anyway, who is interested in what the Olsens have to say? I never cared for them very much anyhow.
Well, Martha, if you were not so stubborn and would get glasses, you could read that letter.
It would mean going to the eye doctor, and that's expensive.
Well, on Main Street is Sherman's eyeglasses store. For the eyes, you do not need a doctor.
Well, I do not need glasses either.
Then it is nothing to be ashamed of.
I am not ashamed, Jenny. I do not need them, that is all.
Well, have it your own way. I am not one to butt into other people's business.
Oh,
Hello, Mama.
hello, Captain.
Hello, Aunt Jenny.
Hello, Catherine.
Oh, Mama, guess what happened today?
Well?
A boy carried Mary Ryan's books home from school.
Well, what's so funny about that?
Well, to start with, she isn't much to look at, but then she wears glasses.
Look what I found.
Where'd you get those?
In a trunk in the attic. I was looking around for a costume for the play.
Oh, let me see them.
I will take them.
Oh, but I love old letters, Mama.
These are mine.
Oh, but I love them. Please.
No, no, no.
Then I will read them.
No, you will not read them. They are mine. They are love letters, sort
Well-
of, and no one is to read them but me.
Who are they from?
Papa, who else? I am not going to let anybody read them, and so as to make sure of that, I will put them in a nice, safe place this very minute.
Oh, gosh.
What's the matter with Mama?
Oh, well, children are not the only ones who act strange. You will find that out when you grow old.
But Mama's not old.
Well, you can tell her from a schoolgirl.
Gosh, I never think of Mama as being any age at all. I just think of her as being Mama.
I used to feel that way about my mama, too, Catherine. And then one day before she died, we got a picture of her from Norway. And I see a very old lady. I hardly know who she is.
Well, Mama won't ever grow old like that, will she?
Oh, no, no. Your mama has quite a while to go before she is as old as me even. And I don't seem old now, do I?
We can tell you from a schoolgirl, Aunt Jenny.
Oh.
All day long, dearest Martha, I have been trying to write a poem for you. But I am clumsy with words. And it would not come out right. So I can only say again how much I love you and how happy I will be when we are married. In case you want to know what the poem was about, it was about that I admire most other than your pure soul, your lovely, wonderful, heavenly blue eyes. May I look into them always. Lars.
Stockman.
Good morning, Mrs. Hanson. Today you find me doing the marketing.
Oh.
Mrs. Stockman is a mite ill.
Oh, that is a shame. Maybe I could help you find what is needed.
Thank you. I dare say I have a way with sinners I don't have with vegetables.
What did Mr. Stockman tell you to get?
Oh, here is a list.
Oh.
2 vegetables for tonight, whatever is most reasonable.
Well, I hope it is not serious with Mrs. Stockman.
Nothing but a touch of grip, Mrs. Hanson, thank you.
That is good.
And may I say I do hope your health is better?
My health?
Your headaches, Mrs. Hanson.
Who told you I had headaches?
One of the ladies at the parish. Would it be Mrs. Jansrud?
Yeah, it would be.
She said something about your needing glasses.
Well, I do not. And when you see her, tell her so for me. Forgive me for saying so, Pastor Stockman, but Mrs. Johnswood is a busybody.
I will forgive you, Mrs. Hanson.
But the beets look nice, hmm?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What do you think of this bunch of carrots?
Oh, they are fine, yeah.
Have you seen the doctor about your headaches, Mrs. Hanson?
Mrs. Johnswood would have told you if I had. You think your wife would like these?
They would be splendid,
Yeah.
splendid. You know, it took me 2 whole years before I would wear them in the pulpit.
Carrots?
No, my glasses.
Oh, so we are back to glasses.
Sometimes I think the little sins are harder to handle than the big ones.
What do you mean?
Well, look at me. Preaching the word of God for 2 years, and I was ashamed the congregation would find out I had glasses in my pocket. One day, the responsive reading was from Ecclesiastes, and the word vanity blurred up so much on me, I had hard work to make it out. I realized that was the Lord's way of telling me that I was being a vain old fool. No, Mrs. Hanson, if the Lord did not want us to grow up and change and get old and die, he would have planned things some other way. And a good Christian must learn to accept that.
Do you think I need the glasses too?
No, I was talking about my own glasses. Well, thank you very much for picking these up.
Oh,
Thank you.
that was nothing.
Thank you.
Pastor Stockman,
Yes, Mrs. Hanson.
I do not wish to be vain.
Oh, we all try not to be.
I will go to Schirmer's eyeglasses shop.
You are a good Christian, Mrs. Hanson.
About the glasses, maybe. About Mrs. Johnsrud, no.
Oh,
Do you have to do that? You play all the time. I play. I don't just paw the piano. You sound like you had leather mittens on. Well, if you don't like it, what? I'll go right on playing. Oh!
Gee, Katrin, you sound much better.
You didn't think that was me.
Why, it's Dagmar.
You really think I play good now?
It was so beautiful that I can't bear to hear anymore.
Well, did you really think it was Katrin?
It was a toss-up between Katrin and Paderewski. I didn't know which.
Ha, ha, ha.
Where's Mama?
In her room.
Why isn't she making supper?
Searched me ever since she came home from downtown. She's been in her room. And she won't let anybody in there either. Well, I guess I'll play some more.
Oh, no. I'm going to play.
Mama! Papa's home! Mama! Papa's home and Mrs. Marsh is with him. Oh, you know, Miss Marsh, that pretty lady from Sunday school. The G-R-A-S-S widow.
Well, I tell her I'll be right down.
Gee, I'm glad Mrs. Marsh came. She's so pretty. We are pilgrims, noble red man. We have come to America our own fashion. How's that, Mrs. Marsh?
That's fine.
Do you think I said it loud enough?
I think so.
I want people to be sure and hear me.
They'll hear you all right.
Not so easy. There's a whole band of us pilgrims, and we say this all at once. And I want people to be sure and hear me.
She's crazy about play acting, this little girl.
She's one of the best in the entire Sunday school, too.
Oh, yeah?
Perhaps her talent is inherited.
What do you mean, Mrs. Marsh?
Well, you look like a person who might have been on the stage.
Me? Oh, my goodness, no. Oh, no, I could never say a word on the stage. No.
Mama, did you hear what Mrs. Marsh just said? Papa looks like an actor.
Yeah, I heard.
Martha, this is Mrs. Marsh.
I am glad to meet you.
I'm glad to meet you, Mrs. Hanson. Dagmar's told me so much about you.
Yes, I've heard a lot about you, too.
I was out front unable to decide which house was yours, so I had to ask the first person who came along. Who do you think it turned out to be? Your husband.
Can you tell me where the Hansons live? Mrs. Marsh said to me.
Did you know, Papa?
It is nice of you to come and call.
Well, I hope the hour isn't inconvenient, but I need some help on the play.
Well, am I going to have more to say?
Oh, no, dear. You're to go on doing just what you do. But I do need your father's help very much.
In a play? Acting?
Oh, my goodness, I could never do that.
Oh, I'm sure you could, Mr. Hanson. But that's not the help I need. I need someone to make the scenery. And Pastor Stockman tells me that you're the best builder in the whole church.
Oh, well, that was very nice of Pastor to say about me, wasn't it, Martha?
Yeah. Would you help us, Mr. Hanson?
Well, I do not know anything about show scenery.
Well, I can tell you just what's needed as long as you'll build it.
Would you, Papa?
It'll take a few of your evenings, that's all.
Please, Papa?
Well, I do not see any reason why we should not do it for the church. Do you, Martha?
Oh, it would be nice to do for the church.
Well, then I will do it.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Thank you.
Not at all. We need to have a play.
Is your mama home? Where is your mama?
In the cellar.
Cellar.
Oh, hello, Jenny. Yeah, I was in the cellar putting some coal on the furnace.
A husband and a son she has, and she's putting coal on the furnace.
Nels is over at Florabelle's, and Lars is at the church.
Church?
Yeah, he is making the scenery for Dagmar's play.
Gee, I think that Mrs. Marsh is nice, Mama.
Did Mrs. Marsh ask Lars to make the scenery?
She stopped by here just before supper.
So?
Sure is pretty.
As if Lars didn't have hard enough work to do all day. Now he must pound nails for Mrs. Marsh.
The play is not for Mrs. Marsh, Jenny. It is for the heathen in Africa.
Well, I'd like to see one of those heathens get Lars to do that work. Huh. Heathens don't make sheep size.
What do you mean, Aunt Jenny?
Oh, nothing, nothing. You are filling out.
I think I'll go upstairs and do my homework.
There is no fool like an old fool, I say.
Who?
Lars.
But there is nothing wrong in his making the scenery for Dagmar's play.
Well, if you won't see it, then I can't make you see it.
You know what I think, Jenny? I tell you, I am sick of your gossip.
My gossip.
Yours and Mrs. Jonsrud. Every place I go, it is Mrs. Jonsrud said this. Mrs. Jonsrud said that.
Well, what has that got to do with me?
Well, only day before yesterday, who should I meet in the grocery shop but Pastor Stockman? I hear you need glasses, he says. I never was so ashamed.
Well, what has that got to do with me?
You told Mrs. Jonsrud.
Oh, I never tell Mrs. Jonsrud anything. She talks.
You know you told Mrs. Jonsrud.
Well, even if I did, you do need the eyeglasses.
Well, no more, I do not.
Oh, Martha, you look terrible.
What is there to be ashamed of in eyeglasses? You said so yourself.
Then, did you have to get the kind that very old ladies wear? You should have got the kind that pinches on your nose, not that hook over your ears. Oh, those are terrible.
Tell that to Mrs. Jonsrud, too.
Oh, Martha, why are you so cross?
Oh.
Did I say it?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Will you have some coffee?
Yeah. We would have 1 cup, maybe, and then we could talk, huh?
Catherine?
Has Aunt Jenny gone?
Oh, quite a while ago.
Oh, then I'll come down.
But is that a way to talk about your Aunt Jenny?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama, but doesn't she ever get on your nerves?
I know what you mean.
Gee, it's awful late for Dagmar to be out.
Well, it is important that they practice, I guess.
Just can't wait to see Papa's scenery.
Oh,
We
hello.
want to see the wonderful scenery Papa's making, Mama.
Oh, that is good.
And Mrs. Marsh told me I was the best one tonight.
That is fine, Dagmar. Now, quick, up to bed.
Oh, I don't want to go to bed, Mama.
It is way past your bedtime. Now, just because you are an actress, that does not mean that you can go without sleep.
Well, we wouldn't have been so late. Only Papa and I walked home with Mrs. Marsh.
Oh, did you?
She's nice. Isn't she, Papa?
Yeah.
Well, go on up to bed now.
All right. Good night, Mama.
Good night.
Good night, Papa. We had fun, didn't we?
Yeah, Lilibet. Good night.
What kind of scenery are you making, Papa?
Well, woods and a log cabin and something called the Plymouth Rock.
That's where the Pilgrims landed.
Oh, yeah.
It's your bedtime, too, now, Catherine.
Oh, gosh, I can stay up later than Dagmar, can't I?
It is way past Dagmar's bedtime. Go on now.
What are you so cross about lately, Mom?
I am not cross. I just asked you to go to bed, that is all.
Good night, Mom.
Good night.
Good night, Papa.
Good night, Catherine. Something bothering you, Martha?
Joe? You think I am cross, too?
No, I used to ask.
You should have more sense than to keep Dagmar up so late.
It was just a little past her bedtime, Martha.
What does that matter? Dagmar loses her sleep as long as Mrs. Marsh gets home.
Oh, it's only one block out of the way.
She is nice, this Mrs. Marsh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty, too, yeah?
Well, yeah.
But you do not need to be afraid to say so. I will not bite you.
Why should you bite me?
But I have seen you looking at her. Why not? She is pretty. And young for a grass widow.
Who said she was a grass widow?
Your name, Mrs. Johnson?
Well, she's not.
So quickly she has told you all about herself.
Her husband has the lung trouble. Next week, he is coming out of the sanatorium to be with her. Now, is that a bad thing for her to tell me? Oh, Martha, I did not mean to hurt you.
Foolish old woman.
Foolish you, Martha? Old woman, you?
Oh, yeah. Wait till you see. Wait till you see what I have to wear now.
What?
Eyeglasses. Can you not see them?
What is wrong with that?
They make me feel so old.
Oh, Martha.
But they do last.
They are nice, I think.
Only the other day, when I was reading some of your letters, those you wrote me before we were married, I guess I want you always to feel about me like you felt then.
That is not possible, Martha.
No, Lars.
No, Martha. How could a boy of 18 love you like I do now? It's taken me all these years to know how good you are. And every day that passes, you become more beautiful to me, Martha. I guess now I am talking like I was 18 again.
Then you do not mind the glasses. I only have to wear them once in a while.
Oh, I think they are fine, Martha.
Yeah.
Come. We go to bed.
I tell you a secret, Lars.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see things much clearer.
Mama was reminded that you see with the heart as well as the eyes. How lucky we all were to have two parents like Mama and Papa. And we had so much fun as a family. I remember around that time, everybody was crazy about Ouija boards, and most families had one, including us. Evenings, we'd sit in the kitchen, our hands pressed to the pointer, eyes glued to the board, waiting for some spirit message to be spelled out. How tense and excited Dagmar would get when she felt the pointer move, until she realized it was only Nels. Then Mama would laugh and say, "It's time for have a cup of coffee." I remember how wonderful those evenings with the family used to be.
Who among us doesn't remember family moments like this? The games, the laughter, and the love, and a steaming pot of Maxwell House on the stove. Yes, Maxwell House has added its particular warmth to family scenes like this for over half a century now. There's never been a coffee that's pleased so many folks for so many years. And I might say it doesn't take a Ouija board to figure out why. It's flavor that does the trick. And where's that flavor come from? Our Maxwell House secret recipe, the one and only recipe for good to the last drop flavor. Coffee blending, you know, is no Ouija board business. It's a mighty painstaking affair. There are thousands of ways you can put together the various kinds of coffees that grow. Yes, thousands of ways to make a blend, and each way will give you a different flavor. But in all the world, there's only one way, one recipe for that famous Maxwell House flavor. That's it in a nutshell. The Maxwell House recipe. And what a world of friendly flavor it crowds into your cup. The simple way of saying all this, of course, is the sign of good coffee. The world over, it means only one thing. Good to the last drop, Maxwell House. Make it your own family coffee, won't you? Always good to the last drop. Again at this same time next week when Maxwell House Coffee presents Mama.